It takes a lot of hard work to be successful, but your success depends on this one key factor. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about the biggest, most important aspect of any business, any reseller out there. Something that's just not thought of enough by those wanting to do this, to resell as a full-time business. Your success all depends on what you are selling. That's the number one factor that can determine if you are successful or not. Now, I talk a lot about how our business is going right now. It's going great. Things are doing very well. And we get a lot of comments and messages from other folks who aren't having that same issue. A lot of people talk about dropping off just after the first week of Christmas, right after Thanksgiving. You know, it just depends on what you sell. That's the number one factor. Whenever I dig into something like that, it's folks that are selling clothing or everyday items and things like that. There can be a drop-off at certain points. This year may be much different because a lot of people are buying very specifically and very narrowed down items this year, those who have had financial stress over the pandemic. So there can be a big difference. Now, for us, we've picked items that have a year-round purchasing power. Basically, a large chunk of what we sell are collectibles, vintage, oddball items, which again, I do buy in bulk. I just don't buy them from a wholesaler or thrift stores or something like that. I center in on certain things, and those are the items that I specifically go after these days. And messing with these sorts of categories, you don't have that drop-off. So if a collector wants something, it doesn't matter what time of year it is. Most of the items that we sell are expendable income items, items that people have to have extra money to buy in the first place. It's not a shirt that somebody's going to wear. Everything that we sell has no basic actual purpose other than to collect. It's a good chunk of what we sell. If you're selling clothing, you have to contend with all of the manufacturers. You have to contend with wholesale. You have to contend with other resellers as well. There are more competitors for new home goods and clothing than there are for almost any other category out there. Obviously, other categories can still do well, like video games because of the pandemic and things like that. It just depends, again, on what you're selling. If you're selling a ton of video games, but they're very common and everybody has them, it's going to take you some time. If you've got rare items, obviously they will sell very quickly, but everybody can't get every item, a rare item, every single time you go out and source. Everything you find is not going to be rare or sought after. You're going to have competition in certain categories. Video games, clothing, books, all of that sort. Books do well, though. It just depends on, again, what kind of books you are sourcing. If your condition isn't great, but there's other folks that have the exact same book, and it's 10 times better condition than yours at the same price, it's not even worth listing sometimes in that case if there's so much competition. One big mistake I see a lot of people doing, even when we're talking about how their store's doing and pricing and things like that, I hear all the time, well, others have sold for set amount, for $75, $100, whatever the amount is. Well, that's not the whole picture. If you're not looking at the live ones, there may be 100 others that are alive, that are running right now, 100 others of that exact same item that you're selling that are active and up right now. So you have only 1% chance if they're all like-to-like items in the same price range. There's no other way around it because of the amount of quantity. So you can't just go out and look and see what something sold for, because it may be a one-off, it may be a couple random flukes that happen once every couple months. It leads you into a long-tail item. So again, it depends on what you sell. Every aspect of what we do, we've tried to center in on things that easy to ship, easy to store, and whether they're long tail or not, you know, they're going to sell at some point. We've got stuff that's been in our store for 4 or 5 years at this point, and that's not an issue. I've done all the hard work already. The hard work was finding it, scanning or photographing it, and then listing it, and then storing it. You've done 75-80% of the work. I'm just going to let them run. It doesn't cost me anything extra at this point. Get 75,000 free listings, so unless I'm getting close to that number, I'm just going to keep doing it and listing this sort of thing. I've even stopped running promotions sometimes. I only run them during certain time frames. We ran one during Black Friday, Thanksgiving week, through that weekend there, and we did extremely well with that. But I'm not rushing to do another one at this point. We're just flooding it with newer items and things like that, and making sure we have a steady flow of items and niches that we sell in. Again, I'm centered in on certain things. We've picked items specifically because they do sell for us throughout the season. There's no lag time in a rare baseball card, or even a decently scarce baseball card, or a good comic book or something. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. It doesn't even matter if it's a very expensive comic book or a high-grade comic book. It'll sell for top dollar throughout the year, even when other ones aren't going very well. So it always comes back to what you are selling. If you're having issues with sales and you've tried everything with what you're selling, you might want to look into a different category. There may be keyword issues or all types of different things, but many items you will be struggling with. It's just the luck of the draw. Every business out there, big business or not, has things that don't sell. That's why Walmart has tons of clearance a lot of the time, because they're not selling for them. Maybe not the right market, maybe the wrong items or things like that. And you'll see big, huge bins or shelving sections of items that just aren't any good for them. They're just not selling. And that's a perfect example. You've got to know the markets as well. I look at markets all the time. I just did some videos for those in Patreon talking about market valuations and things like that. While the clothing market has been flooded with tons of online competition because the stores are closed, the opposite has happened for those resellers in collectibles, vintage, scarce, and oddball things. So the markets in general have been changing. A lot more people are selling clothing and things around the household, video games and things like that, trying to get some money to make it through the pandemic. On the other hand, you've got collectibles where people would go locally to stores and fairs and club meetings and things, antique festivals, all that sort of thing they're not going to. So they're still wanting their fix of collectibles. So those folks are buying it online. So there's a lot more people buying those collectibles from what I see and from what our experience is than were before. And they're fighting over some items. So some items have risen in price through the pandemic. And those are some of the markets we've been playing on, or trying to get as deeply leveraged as we can, because the prices have been steadily going up. It's all, again, it depends on what you're selling. Clothing, again, most retailers out there right now, most clothing stores, clothing brands are sending out a ton of emails if you have their email registered with them, or they're running a ton of sales, a ton of markdowns across the board, across all of their markets. It's just the way it has been. Black Friday wasn't very good for retail. Online's a different story, but out in the real world, brick and mortar, it didn't do very well this year. It was a very big disappointment to many of those big blocks, at least the ones that could open up. So again, the markets have changed. A lot of cheap clothing, a lot of cheap home goods and things are available online right now. Antique-wise, collectibles and things like that. People always collect, but everybody, a large chunk of the population who collects the vintage and stuff like we sell, have been pushed online for the first time. It's created even opportunities to go back to some of the old auction-style listings in some cases, depending on the item. Bin's usually the best one to do, of course. You can check that out on Terapeak. You can compare the ratio of bin prices versus the ratio of auction prices. It just, again, depends on what you're selling. A lot of people will just randomly go around to garage sales, thrift stores, whatever the case may be, and see what they can get. That's a necessity for many people when you're first starting out. It was for us as well. But at some point, you're not going to be able to get over a certain amount because you're stagnant with the locations, the amount of product you're getting in. Again, it comes back down to what you're getting. You can have a ton of items, of course, but they have to be good items. We see a lot of people, especially those just getting into this, who just throw up a whole bunch of stuff without really digging into it. And a lot of the merchandise that they're listing just isn't worth listing, or it should be bunched together in a lot or something along that line. It's a lot of time wasted and spent on doing something that may not get you a return out of your investment. Again, that's why it comes down to what you're selling. There's thousands of items you can sell, but you've got to pick the right ones. Just like keywords are so important once you've got the right ones, but you've got to have the right items to start with. If you're not picking the right items, you're listing the wrong items, you're spinning your wheels far too much. You've got to be able to do more work in the same amount of time if you're spending a ton of time sourcing and then a ton of time listing each item. You've got to cut that time down per item so you can list more items in the exact same amount of time. And it comes down again to the type of items that you list. We're very specific on what we mess with these days. If it's going to take me over a set amount of time to list something, chances are even if there's a reasonable amount of profit, I may still pass it by. Now, if it's, say, going to make me 50, 75, 100 bucks, I'll probably get it either way. But the point of it is most of our items are quick, easy to list, easy to ship. You know, the whole works. They're quick ups. And they're items I can just forget about. All the labor goes into getting them up, and who cares how long they sit up on the site. That's my take on it. Pay attention. Look at the markets you're going into. Don't just start picking something up and hoping you're going to do great on it. Markets do change. Now, if something's working for you, you don't give it up until you have another working plan. I didn't change out of clothing. I didn't change out of books full-time or anything like that until we had other ways and other revenue already coming in. So don't jump ship or anything like that. But the markets that stay steady are the markets you should be in. That's given no matter what. So we've strayed away. Clothing is just not the market for us in this area. Maybe where you live, there's a ton of clothing. You can get extremely good deals. Here, it's a fight to get like a shirt. So it's just not worth the time or hassle for me. So again, we've checked out different items. We're very selective, and that is the key to getting this to work. That has made us successful picking categories that I'm not going to lose money. Most of the areas that I'm selling in, the category, the price-wise, has steadily risen through the time frame that I've been selling it. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Gotcha!
And tried.
Gotcha!
And tried some more.
Gotcha!
But can't get over that bridge to score. Hot Wheels Dynamite Crossing. You put it together. The speed's on high. The launcher set. Could be this time your car will get over Dynamite Crossing.
Dynamite! Now I get to blast your car. Gotcha! Gotcha! Gotcha!
Hot Wheels Dynamite Crossing set comes with Bridge Blaster van. Some sets not for use with some cars. New from Hot Wheels by Mattel.